one of the great, one of many great murals here in North Park because you are radiant. And St. Patrick's Day it hasn't arrived, but we're getting ready for Easter already. Anyways, this city, this well, the city, I'm live and direct from America's finest city, San Diego, California. Um, at night, the city is alive, especially some of the neighborhoods because there's always construction because everything is being remodernized. Anyway, so um, check out this amazing store. This is a hair salon. And I wanted to make a video because there's not a lot of people outside and the music is not rocking. And my videos, when I go live, if it gets like one little song, it goes copyrighted. And some of those videos that I'm doing right now, um, I personally like to watch them myself and learn how to make new videos. And it's always good to show people where you're from. And North Park is a neighborhood that has a lot of activity like any other neighborhood in any other city in the world. There's crime. We have a lot of activity going on over here at night. But I decided to risk my life and give you a little tour of North Park. This is a brand new store. It actually looks really good. And look, I was gonna open my store and I was looking for a disco ball, but I never opened the store. But that is exactly what I would have wanted in my store. That looks really good. Anyways, so I'm here in North Park in San Diego, California. It's a very getting to be a very trendy neighborhood. The neighborhoods is well, the neighborhood has a theater, and the theater is kind of like the beginning of North Park because the theater when they opened it, which was not even 100 years ago, and now really looks like it's over 100. It's what shapes this little neighborhood, and we're gonna walk over there to the North Park sign with the lights, and then we're gonna go to the theater, and then I'm gonna show you around, and then these are some of the stores that are here. Um, so, anyways, I'm kind of happy that there's not a lot of music out. Good people drink good beer, really. Anyway, so North Park has its ups and downs. North Park is northeastern of downtown San Diego. We have a lot of public transportation all the way to like 1 o'clock in the morning. And if you visit North Park, it's easy actually to come to North Park on public transportation, and they have express buses. And I just learned, well, I already knew there used to be like the train stations, the trolleys that started here in the turn of the 1900s. We had trains that are now underneath this street. There's the train tracks are underneath the street, and I think that when they remodeled again all of the streets, they left the tracks there for memory. And well, that's the North Park sign. But we're gonna go over there and look at it closer. And this is how North Park basically begins. And I've lived here all my life, and I can say that I feel very safe, even though there's a lot of crime and activity. But I feel like North Park is one of the safest neighborhoods to walk at night and go to the bars and restaurants, and there's a lot of eateries. One of the eateries that I haven't been because I thought that this place is called Shank and Bone, and I thought it was like, I don't know what it is, but I was reading here that it got an award for best most unique chili, and then this one is People's Choice Chili from City of San Diego. So I need to come here and eat chili because I love chili. And then there's this display for the Chinese New Year, which is great. And then inside there is a mural over there from Obey. And you know, Obey loves San Diego, and he's done a lot of work over here. Murals that he did and nobody knew. Overnight murals come here unexpectedly. And this is another mural over here. Look, the panda and the bear. And that's the North Park sign. Now, North Park, believe it or not, was basically kind of founded by this guy whose name was James Monroe Hartley. And James Monroe Hartley bought North Park. We did, obviously the North Park did not have a name, because anyways, so this guy, his name was James Hartley. James Monroe Hartley. We have one of the avenues. This is University Avenue, and one of the other avenues is Monroe Avenue, and which runs from the beginning of North Park to the end of North Park. James Monroe Hartley bought all of this land right here, and nobody lived here, by the way. And he bought all this land where this theater is now, and it was for agricultural purposes. So he bought it to put lemon orchards in 1896 or in 1893 or 1896. But it only lasted like 8 years, because in 1905 there was like a drought in San Diego for years. So all of the seven families after him, there were seven families that had agricultural, and all the plants died, and then it never became what he wanted, and then it started become a city, like a little. It started picking up because the train tracks would come. They started building here, and that's how the people moved to North Park. Well, this theater that looks really, really old, and I really thought that this theater was probably from like the 1900s, because I thought that this theater was over 100 years old. Well, this theater is not even 100 years old. This theater is from 1929, and we're 1924, so this is only 95 years old, but it looks older than old. Anyways, we're gonna go around the theater. So now you know that, oh, I forgot to tell you that North Park, when the guy bought the land, James Monroe Hartley, he named North Park He named it James. Sorry, the actually North Park wasn't called North Park. North Park was called Hartley's North Park. Obviously, right? Because if you have, his name was James Monroe Hartley, and then when he bought all this land, 40 acres of land plant his um plant his orchids, his lemon trees or whatever, it didn't work out. But when he bought this place, he actually, it used to be called Hartley's North Park. And then eventually, I don't know the story because I have to read more. So that's like another story. I don't know what happened to him, and then this theater inaugurated in January of 1929. So that's not even 100 years ago. And then they remodeled it again in 2005, and they reopened it. And actually, there's a lot of great bands that come over here. And then recently, in recent years, and I think that they finished this like in the beginning of the pandemic. And in the middle of the pandemic, they built this really great space for people to come here and like hang out. Obviously, nobody's ever here, but they built this place and they finished it in the pandemic, and then nobody really could come here because everything was closed. Um, but this place is always empty, and the people that come here, they actually come and rehearse over there because over there they have uh, instruments where people can play if you're a professional player, and you just bring your things and then you can play over there at night. And sometimes our people here rehearsing, or they come here alone to sing. And a lot of people don't know, a lot of people drive through here because nobody really comes here. Like the people who come to North Park and party or go and eat, they're not gonna come over here because this is not like a, it's not like what do you call it, like a touristy thing, because it's kind of like, the helicopter. There's always a helicopter here because helicopters, because there's a lot of, there's recently there's been a lot of crime. But I, like I said, I'm risking my life right now to make this live video and show you what North Park is all about. But isn't that great? Like the big letters of North Park, and this is the entrance. I guess this was a parking lot, but the city decided, or somebody decided to do this. And oh look, rough skins crafted in California. See, I should have. Um, they never told me I could have had my own little plaque here. But look, rough skin is a menswear designers, and they're famous all over the world. Obviously, you just open a magazine, there's rough skin. It's kind of like same Calvin Klein or Perry Ellis or whatever. But rough skin is more like a very trendy, very high end denim. So, anyways, and they're here, and I actually know them. I've been to their house in whatever party, but rough skin is amazing. And a lot of these people, I've actually never seen this before, and I should have my own little plaque. Medavog tour. They have all the little plaques of all. Oh, even 91X is here. So I grew up with 91X, and then they have Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. He's one of my favorite presidents. Anyway, so this is actually really great. I'm not gonna have time here to look at this, but I should have been invited to. I wonder how much money you would have to put, maybe $1,000 or $500. But this is great. Too bad. I didn't know about this, but anyways. So this is the North Park Theater in San Diego, California. It's very quiet. And then these over here are the instruments. In North Park, San Diego, California, I was reading that also, like I said, that James Monroe Hartley bought North Park in 1893, I think, or 1896. He bought 40 acres of North Park. And North Park used to be called Hartley's North Park. And he bought it because it was just farms. Nobody lived here. Nobody was here. And he bought all the land to plant citrus, like orchids, lemons or limes or whatever. And then and then for like maybe 7 years, seven other families, including his family, um, they thought that they could be that North Park was going to be like more of an like where you can plant vegetables and have farms, but it didn't happen. But you know what? I've heard. Well, isn't that's very interesting story because um, in the 1930s and 40s, and even in the 50s, I heard that North Park, there was a lot of farms that would farm. Believe it or not, how sad and depressing. Um, they would farm peacocks because peacock feathers. Well, I think it was actually in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s and 40s. There was a lot of farms for peacocks here in North Park because peacocks, believe it or not, was the height of fashion back in the beginning of the 20th century. And um and then in later years, all of those things went out of fashion, like people thinking that they could have farms here to plant trees to grow avocados or whatever, and so nothing happened. The only thing that happened was that this place got really popular in the 40s and in the 50s because of transportation, and because of the trains that could come here. Because when the Panama started, the Balboa Park in 1916, the city of San Diego decided to put trains to go all over San Diego, well, nearby neighborhoods. And then North Park became famous in also from stories and reading that North Park, which is not as famous as it was in the past, but North Park, San Diego was and has always been in the history of parades, believe it or not, like the Rose Bowl parade, the Macy's parade. Those places have, and the parades are huge, right? And there's like millions of people now, right? Whatever, right? But can you imagine that back in the 50s, mostly in the 50s and the 60s, but in the 50s, North Park was known in the United States as the place to be for the Christmas parade. It was like a serious thing. The parade started here and it went all the way to downtown, and that's really really far, I think. But I've always known that North Park was very famous and very sophisticated in the 50s because everything was brand new. So everybody who all the young people who lived in who oh well all the young people, period, who are the ones who are actually the founders of North Park. The All of the cottages, all the houses here, which they were built after World War II, because there's a lot of people who are European or who established North Park as a trendy city in the 40s and the 50s. And that's why North Park in the 50s had those parades that were the #1 place to be in the United States to watch a parade. and there were like really hundreds of thousands of people would come here in December to watch the parade. And anyways, like I said, transportation has been always been very good here, and until midnight. And I can see the bus coming, which is the one that I'm gonna take. But I just wanted to come and share with you North Park and how fabulous it is. Well, I'm actually gonna go and eat at this place in North Park called Colima's, which is a Mexican restaurant, and the food is really amazing. I'm gonna have to get on this bus because I don't want to walk over there to Colima's because it's kind of dark, and I hate to. Um. Anyway, so I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye. Good night.